I want you to think about something, okay? Think about the most important relationship in your life right now, the one that takes up the most of your mental energy, the one that you think about on your way to work, the one you process with your good girlfriends, the one you bring to therapy, okay? The one you're writing about in your journal, the one you're praying over all the time. Have you got it? Do you know which relationship I'm talking about? Now, what if I told you that that relationship, that one you pray over, that you complain about, that you think about, that is always on your mind, what if that relationship was not the most important relationship you have right now? What if the relationship that is quietly determining the outcome of every other relationship in your life, the one that's setting the terms, setting the tone, setting the standard, is the one you've been neglecting the most? And that is your relationship with yourself. Not the self-care version, okay? Not the bubble bath. You guys know how I feel about that. We're going beyond the bubble bath over here, right? I'm talking about the real relationship that you have with yourself. The one where you look at how you actually treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, what you allow for yourself, what you believe you deserve, and you get honest about what you find. That, my friend, is what we're talking about today. And that relationship, that one, is the most important one. And that's the one that changes everything. Let's go. Hi, I'm Dr. Tiff, your relationship transformation coach. I've spent the past 20 years working with high-achieving women just like you who are crushing it in every area of their lives, everywhere except their relationships. And look, I get it. Finding the one ain't easy, and relationships are hard. But you know what's even harder? Cycling through the bad ones, or worse, staying in relationships when you already know they're not a good fit. You want a relationship of ease, uncomplicated, someone to love you down, but instead you've been suffering through bad dates, sexual incompatibility, and someone who might be good for somebody, but not for you. And if we're really being honest, you know that deep down, the work that really needs to be done starts and ends with you. If you're done wasting time in dead-end relationships and sick of looking for, chasing after, or trying to convince somebody to be the one, and you're ready to become the one, then baby, you're in the right place. So prop your feet and let's clink glasses, because I'm giving you the tea and the tips to fix your relationships. Let's go. Hello, it's me, Dr. Tiff, and I want to welcome you to Fix Your Relationships podcast. Today's episode is one I've been building up to for quite some time. We spend so much of our time talking about people in our lives, what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they need to change, what you hope they're going to change, what you want them to start or stop doing, what you're waiting on them to finally get right. And I get it. That is where the pain lives. That's where your frustration is. But here's the thing. The relationship you have with yourself is actually the blueprint for every other relationship in your life. Now, stay with me here, okay? A blueprint. When you think about a blueprint in construction, that is the original plan. Everything gets built from it. If there's a flaw in the blueprint, a wall being out of place, a measurement that's off, even if it's only by an inch, that one error shows up in everything else that gets built after that point. You cannot build a sound structure from a flawed blueprint, no matter how skilled the builder is. So here's the question I need you to sit with today. What is your internal blueprint telling you about what you deserve? Because here is what I've watched over and over again with the women that I work with. When you speak harshly to yourself, when you talk down to yourself, when you hold yourself to impossible standards, when you never let yourself off the hook, you tend to accept the same treatment from people around you. Not because you want it, not because you like it or you deserve it, but because it matches the blueprint. Okay, it is very familiar to you. It feels like home. It's exactly what you say to yourself. When you drop everything, the moment somebody says they need something, you tend to attract people who will let you do exactly that. Not because they're all terrible people. They're not. It's because you've shown them through your blueprint that your needs are negotiable, that you will drop everything, that what you have going on isn't as important as what they have going on. When you never forgive yourself, when you replay your own mistakes on a loop, when you are your own worst critic, you'll find yourself in relationships with people who are critical of you as well, who are also unforgiving, who also have impossible standards for you to try and measure up to, and also impossible to please. They are mimicking you, sis. This is not your fault, though. I want to say that very clearly. You did not choose this blueprint consciously. You inherited it. You absorbed it. You built it from your earlier experiences in love and home life and belonging. But now that you can see it, now that we've talked about it, we just made it plain, honey, it's time to revise the blueprint. Okay? And we can't redo this blueprint without you knowing exactly what it looks like and how it shows up in your life, because I don't want this to continue to be abstract for you. Here's how it shows up for some of us. For some of us, it shows up in how we talk to ourselves. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself today and the rest of the week. How do you talk to yourself when you've made a mistake, when you've done something wrong, when you drop the ball somehow, when you've fallen short on your own standards, when you're struggling? Is it a voice of compassion? Okay. Are you saying to yourself, hey, you know what? This didn't go well. Here's what we're going to do differently. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It's going to be fine. Or do you have a voice that is like really trying to punish you? Why can't you get it together? You're so stupid. What's wrong with you? Why do you keep making these same mistakes? You should know better by now. Are you saying that to yourself? Because that internal voice is the first relationship. And whatever that voice sounds like, that is the frequency you are broadcasting. And the people in your life are going to tune into it. That blueprint also shows up in what you allow. The things you accept from other people that you would never accept on behalf of somebody that you love. That is the blueprint that is showing up in your life. The behavior you explain away, you minimize, or you just quietly absorb, because somewhere underneath everything, you don't quite believe you have grounds to require more. That's your blueprint that you are operating on. And it shows up in how you talk about yourself to other people. I'm just lazy. I'm just stupid. I don't know how to do anything. I can't get it right. I'm not really good at these things. That casual self-diminishing behavior and those types of words, I think sometimes we say that and we want to express it as a form of humility, but actually that blueprint is speaking out very loud. And it's not that I think you should come from a place of arrogance or self-obsession. This is about something more basic than that. It's what you believe you are worthy of. And the bigger question that I have for you today is, do you believe you are worthy of love just as you are? There's a part of you in that blueprint that feels like you have to be something else in order to be worthy of love. So ask yourself, do you believe you are worthy of love just as you are? Not as you could be, not if you were perfect, not if you had it all together, not if you lost the weight, not if you healed the thing, not if you figured it all out, not if you earned it, but right now, as you are today. Psalms 139:14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made, honey. Fearfully. It doesn't say honey. Okay. I said that. That was an added bonus from me. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Present tense, already. Not I will be once I get my act together, but I am right now as I am. That is the blueprint God drew up. The question is whether you are building from it, whether you're speaking from it, whether you're expecting from it, whether you're demanding other people treat you based on that blueprint. That's the question. Hey, babes, I want to ask you something real quick. You're talented, right? You're driven. You show up and you deliver every single time. But is anybody showing up like that for you, sis? Or are you always the one giving more, carrying more, fixing more? Maybe you're in a relationship right now where something feels, off, like roommates, like the connection you've been longing for is just right there, but you don't know how to go about getting it. Or maybe you just quietly sworn the whole thing off because, honey, you're tired. Sis, I see you, and I made something just for you. This May, I'm hosting More Love, Less Hustle. It's my free live working lunch series where we're going to get to the bottom of why you keep working so hard for love, what it's costing you, and how to build your own personal stop-start strategy so you can stop settling for crumbs and start showing up as the one. It's only an hour, sis. It's free, and we've got multiple dates throughout the month of May. And listen, this room won't be the same without you in it. The conversation we're about to have, it's been waiting on you, sis. So come get your seat at becometheone.myflowdesk.com/more love, less hustle. That's the direct link, but it's also in the show notes. We'll see you there, babes. Now let's get back to the show. All right, all right. I hope I get to see you guys in more Love Less Hustle. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that at the end of the show. But you guys know what time it is. It's time to get your journal. It's time to get that pen and paper. We do this every week. I give you some questions to really sit down and think about, to journal about, to walk through these exercises with me, to make it plain in your heart and in your head and in your mind and your spirit. So get your pen and paper ready, get your journal, whatever you like to write on, whether it's paper, pen, tablet, whatever. Okay. Maybe you're writing it in your hand. I don't know. What I do know though, is that if you are driving, I need you to do one of two things, either pull over, okay, and do this with us, or come back to it later, because I don't want you trying to do this and drive at the same time. You got plenty of time for that. And if you are doing it right now with us, I ask that you pause in between each of these questions and go ahead and just write this thing out. We're going to do this work together so you can go ahead and get it done. We'll be done with it by the end of the episode if you just go ahead and knock this thing right on out right now. All right. Question number 1. How do you talk to yourself when you fail? When you do something wrong, when you fall short, or when you make a mistake? Write out exactly what that internal voice of yours is saying to you, word for word, if you can. And then ask yourself, once you've done that, ask yourself, would I say this to someone that I love? Would I say this to someone that I love? And I need you to not skip that second part, okay? Because most of you are going to realize that you carry a standard of self-talk that you would never, ever apply to a friend or a sister or a child or somebody that you really genuinely loved and cared about. And you normalize that voice, okay? You call it being hard on yourself, right? You call it having a high standard. There is a difference between a high standard and punishing yourself. And it's time to tell the difference. It's time to start doing things differently, speaking to yourself differently. All right, pause right here so you can finish this one out. How do you talk to yourself when you fall short, when you fail, when you make a mistake? Write exactly what you say to yourself and then ask yourself, would I say this to somebody that I love? All right. Question number 2, name one thing you consistently allow in your relationships, from a partner, it could be a friend, it could be a family member, okay, that you would not allow on behalf of someone that you love. Things that you allow from them that you would not allow someone else to do to them. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Why do you allow it is the real question, okay? Once you've determined what are things that I consistently am allowing in my relationships, how I allow maybe people to walk over me, maybe I allow people to talk slick to me, maybe I'm allowing people to take advantage of me in some sort of way. And if I saw this happening to this same person, maybe it's the partner or the child or the family member or the friend, if I saw someone else doing this to them, oh, I'd have something to say. I'd be all up in that. Not my baby, not my man, not my mama, okay? But I'm going to allow it to happen to myself. Be specific. Don't give me a category. Give me a thing. Give me a behavior. Give me a pattern. Something you've accepted more than once and know in your gut that it is not right. And then I want you to honestly answer, what does accepting this say about what I believe I deserve? What does accepting this say about what I think I'm worthy of? Okay? All right, pause and do that. Now, question number 3. If you genuinely believed today, right now, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, right now as you are, what would you do differently in your closest relationships? Those relationships that are most important to you, that relationship at the top of the show that we talked about, that you've been praying about, that you think about all the time. What would you be doing differently in that relationship? The one that worries the mess out of you. What would you be doing differently if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you were fearfully and wonderfully made? How would you move differently? Okay. I'm not talking about a fictitious or fantasy relationship. I'm talking about the one right in front of you. Okay. What would you be doing differently? What would shift in you and how you show up? What would you stop accepting? What would you finally start requiring from these people? Go ahead and write that out in detail. Okay. Be as plain as you can, because that picture you just painted, that is what becomes available when the blueprint changes. When you change, everything changes. Okay. Now here's one small shift. We do this every week. I give you one task, one thing to do in the next 7 days, one small shift that you can do that will change everything. One little thing. Okay. It's not too big. It's not small. It's just right. I want you to do this for me this week. Pick one way that you speak to yourself that you already know is unkind. One specific phrase, one habitual thought that comes up when you're really struggling, when you've made a mistake, when you've done something wrong, when you said something wrong, when you've done something stupid, okay? And this week, what I need you to do is I need you to catch it. I need you to catch it before it comes out. When it's right at the tip of your tongue, before you say it and think it, I need you to catch it and I need you to interrupt that thought. You don't have to replace it with a perfect mantra or affirmation. I'm not asking you to do anything extra. I just need you to stop it. Stop the thought. Don't say it, okay? You just have to stop it. Pause. And then I want you to ask yourself, what would I say to my best friend? What would I say to my daughter? What would I say to my favorite person in the world if they were going through the same thing right now? What would I say to them? And then I need you to say that to yourself. Okay? You say that to yourself. So you've got one interruption. You interrupt that thought, interrupt that whatever it was you were going to say. You redirect that thought and ask yourself, what would I say to my best friend going through this same thing? And then you're going to say that to yourself. That's the beginning of the new blueprint. That's it. Okay? So many of us have spent years, sometimes decades, trying to fix our relationships with other people while the relationship that was driving all of it was the one that we have with ourselves. And nobody told us. Nobody sat us down and said the way that you are treating yourself is setting the terms for everything else. That is why, friends, I created More Love, Less Hustle. And I need you to hear this before I close out today. You have done everything you're supposed to do. You showed up in these relationships. You loved hard. You gave generously. You prayed. You tried. You stayed when leaving was so much easier. You kept going when you had every reason to stop. And you did all of that without the most important thing, without knowing that you were the one worth fighting for all along. Not him, not them, not the relationship, not the version of love you keep trying to build with people who don't have the tools to build the blueprint that you have. You, sis. You did it without knowing that you were the one worth fighting for all along. You, sis, you are not a supporting character in your own love story. You are not the background actor. You are not the one who holds it all together while everybody else gets to fall apart. You are the main event, the main character energy. You are the one God fearfully and wonderfully designed on purpose, with intention, and with everything you need already inside of you. And when you finally start treating yourself like that, when you start building your life and your love from that blueprint, that's when everything changes, okay? Everything. This is exactly what we dig into in More Love, Less Hustle, my free live working lunch series happening throughout the month of May. If what I said today landed, like really landed for you, I want to see you in that room. We're going to be talking about where these patterns started, why they stuck, and what it actually looks like to show up in love from a completely different place, a place of wholeness, a place of knowing yourself with clarity and with focus of I know what I'm worth and I'm not negotiating on it. Okay. If this is something you're interested in, if you know you need it, and I know you do, okay, come grab your spot at becometheone.myflowdesk.com/more love less hustle. That's becometheone.myflowdesk.com/more love less hustle. You can go directly to that link right now or tap the link in the show notes. That link is there as well. If today's episode felt like I was talking directly to you, if you heard yourself in the woman who's been giving grace to everyone except herself, who's been holding the world together while she's quietly coming apart inside, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not behind. You're not a screw up. You're a woman who was handed a blueprint that didn't tell the truth about who you actually are. And now you know, fearfully, wonderfully made. And knowing is the beginning of building something different. And that's what we're going to do together in More Love, Less Hustle. I better see you in the place, okay? Because you are fearfully and wonderfully made, sis. Not one day, not sometime in the future, right now. So let's start building from that. That's the blueprint, okay? I love you so much, and I hope and pray that I get to work with you in More Love, Less Hustle. Go to becometheone.myflowdesk.com/more love less hustle to check out the dates. This starts May 1. I'm going to be adding dates throughout the month of May. So if you don't see a date right now that works for you, don't worry. Just keep checking back because we're going to continue to add more dates as they come. I cannot wait to see your face in the place, and I can't wait to show you how to get more love with less hustle. I love you, sweetie. I will see you right back here next week and hopefully in more love, less hustle. Ciao. Hey, babe, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. My goal with this podcast is to bless you with information that helps you fix those relationships that are most important to you, but not before you do the self-work needed to make sure that those relationships thrive. If this episode was exactly what you needed, then guess what? Somebody else probably needs it too. So do me and them a favor. Please share this episode with your good girlfriend and let her know about the podcast. And while you're at it, hop on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. This really helps to grow the podcast and puts it right in front of other women who are desperate to work on their relationships and themselves. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to join our community of like-minded women all on a journey to become the one. You can sign up for free at becometheone.myflowdesk.com/email. I know that's a lot, so just go on over to the show notes and click that link there. Thanks again for listening to Fix Your Relationships with Dr. Tiff. I'll see you right back here next week.